Hi everybody, so today we're going to do a music theory lesson that goes over the 4-chord progression. It's also a lot of why many pop songs sound similar. So here is your basic C scale, no sharps, no flats, no nothing. We're just going to number them off in the order that you play them. And then I'm going to actually put Roman numerals on here because if you see these chords in a music book or online, you'll probably see them in Roman numerals. So we're going over the 4-chord theory, which means that we're going to need to choose our 4 main chords. So we always have the root, which is the key that you're in, and then you're going to have the 5th, the 6th, and the 4th. That's what we're looking for. 1, 5, 6, 4. And that's the order that we're also going to be playing them in. So it doesn't matter what key you're in, as long as you remember 1, 5, 6, and 4, you should be able to do this progression in any key that you're playing in. So I've gone ahead and written out the chords for you in order. So first you're going to play C, then G, then A, then F. So here is, I'm going to introduce a word, it's called diatonic, and what this means is that the chord is kept in the same key as what you're playing. So let's go over that really quick. Here is your basic C scale. No sharps, no flats. So the diatonic chords here mean that none of the chords are going to have sharps or flats in it because we want to keep them in the key of C. Usually A has a C sharp in it, but we're going to make sure that we're keeping it in the same key, so it'll be A natural. So here's your chord progression. You're going to start on C, go up a 5th to G, go up one more, so now you're at the 6th, and you're going to play A. So again, this sounds minor because usually A major chords have a C sharp in them, but we're going to make sure that's C natural to keep it in the key of C. And then when we go up a 4th, you've got F. So this is another way that you can try the progression. So instead of having to jump all the way from C to G, either going up or down, then we're going to play the second inversion of the G chord. So we're going to keep the top note the same, and then play the top 2 notes of the regular G chord. So it's the same notes, just in a different order, and it makes it a lot easier to go from 1 to 5. And then you just drop down to the 6th and to the 4th. You'll notice from the 6th to the 4th that the bottom 2 notes of the 6th are the same as the top 2 notes of the 4th. So that makes it a lot easier to find where you're trying to go. Okay, so now let's look at the same thing, but in the key of G major. So everything else is the same, but the notes are going to be different. So this time our root is G, the 5th is D, the 6th is E, and so diatonic E in the key of G major is going to be E minor, and then our 4th is a C. So remember that the key of G has an F sharp, so we want to make sure that we are keeping that F sharp in our chords. So, going from G, then here are all of the diatonic chords in that key. When we do our progression, we go from G to the 5th, which is D. So D has the F sharp in it, and then we've got E minor, so there's no G sharp in this E chord, because there's no G sharp in the key of G. Then we finish on C. So G, D major, E minor, and then C. of jumping all the way from the G up to the D, then we're going to play the second inversion of the D chord. So same notes, just in a different order. We're taking the D from the bottom and putting it on top. So the top note is going to stay the same, and then the A and the F sharp are the only thing changing. Brings us a lot closer to the E minor chord, and then we finish on C. So the bottom two notes of the E minor chord are the same as the top two notes of the C major chord. So now let's look at the A major scale, just as another example. So A has three sharps, F sharp, G sharp, and C sharp. So we need to make sure that when we make our scales, that we are keeping them all with those same sharps. So here we've got the second inversion of E, because that's the fifth of the A scale. So we're just taking that E and keeping the E on top, and then playing the B and the G sharp on the bottom. And that brings us a lot closer to the F sharp minor and then D major. There's so many different songs that you can play just by knowing these progressions of these four chords. Doesn't matter what key you're in, you can use it for a ton of different songs. So have fun playing and writing your own music.